That is me right there. That guy from Written in the Stars. Always searching for answers to the weightier issues of this mystery called life. With my best friend. Charlie, the thing about my best friend we say, no matter how far I day from him, he's never far from me. Cape Coast, the first capital city of the Gold Coast and the home of some of Ghana's finest senior high schools. Charlie, to be frank with you, I am not here to tell you what this city has to offer the world, but to take you through a convo with me and my best friend they have. With a search for alternative answers to some of the questions with the icons and celebrities who they pass through this show talk me. My people, this life it no be easy. I don't see with my eyes to the point where I dey question almost everything. Family is one thing I know they joke with. So I felt it was imperative on my part to start this episode from the birthplace of my mom, as I reflect on what it will be like to grow up here. I had an encounter with a young musician by name Demi V in Nigeria. We had a lot to talk about. In my mind's eye, this place, Anafo, where my mom was born, takes me back to our conversation on Written in the Stars. This show is designed to give you alternative truth from the very answers the icons and celebrities shared with us on this beautiful platform. With that said, if we go check out what Demi V had to say in regard to grace, talent, and pain. And when we come back, more alternative truths from my best friend. This is my best friend and I. As a young man, what are the tactics that you use to stay above or to float, to keep your head above waters and not sink? What are some of the tactics? I mean, I've seen you come from nothing to become a modern day successful musician who is still going through the ranks to be where you want to be. What are the survival tactics that goes into the young man of Nigeria today, the youth, the survival tactics?
To me, I can actually speak for myself.
You represent the youth?
Because I represent everybody.
All right.
You understand? The only thing is I stay true to my hustle. I stay true to myself. Like, I know this music is what I can do perfectly well. Thank God for grace that I realized my talent at a very young age. You understand? It was actually the pain that I was going through that made me realize my talent. That made me know every talented person in Nigeria went through something that will make you discover that your talent. Will make you know that, so I can actually do this. So when I realized that, I believed in my talent and I trust in God in it. You understand? So I feel that's the way of survival, because music is the only thing that I got.
Wow.
So
you are surviving with music.
I survive with music. I believe in what I do. I believe in music and I stay original to it.
So now let's talk for the masses.
Yeah.
How are they surviving? The youth of today.
I would not say they survive by any means. I would just say everybody's surviving by God's grace. Everybody's surviving by God's grace.
Hold on. I wouldn't say they're surviving by any means. Everybody is surviving by the grace of God.
Trust me, bro. By the grace of God.
Welcome back. Let's find an alternative truth to the response that Mivi shared on grace, talent, and pain with us from our best friend, who always leads me to this verse. If anyone speaks, they should do so as the one who speaks the very words of God. So let's pay attention
and listen attentively.
See, I have refined you, but not as silver. Rather, I have refined you in the furnace of suffering. Isaiah chapter 48, the 10th verse. But to each one of us, grace was given according to the measure of Christ's gifts. Ephesians chapter 4, the 7th verse. Is your life full of difficulties and temptations? Then be happy, for when the way is rough, your patience has a chance to grow. So let it grow, and don't try to squirm out of your problems. For when your patience is finally in full bloom, then you will be ready for anything, strong in character, full and complete. James chapter 1, the 2nd to the 4th verse.
That was Demi V sharing his thoughts on grace, talent, and pain. What I learned from my best friend was patience. So please make sure you research and find alternative truths and make that truth your own. Remember, God is with you. Well, on that note, let us find out more from Demi V about his knowledge on the grace of God. And when we return, more alternative truths from our best friend, who always leads me to this verse. If anyone speaks, they should do so as the one who speaks the very words of God.
How do you know it's by the grace of God?
Because when you look at everything is working against you. It's only God that can take you away from that scenario. It's only God that can help you. It only takes miracle to be successful in Nigeria. It's more than hard work. It's like miracle. Like when people see that you are successful, they feel like, whoa, how did you make it? How, as in, maybe all of us they suffer together for this Nigeria. How did they make it? So they're surprised. There's no logic for success. There's nothing. There's no structure. You understand?
It's just the grace of God.
It's just the grace of God. Because when you look at it, there are people that are more talented than me. There are people that actually knows how to sing more than me. They are still on the street. They are still suffering. They still don't know what they will hit at this time of the day. And they are talented. So is it not God's grace that I'm here?
It is His grace.
Won't I look at myself like a supernatural being? Because out of everything they gave to us, I made it. Out of the struggle, out of the hustle, out of the pain, I made it. It will definitely get into my head. Like, whoa, guy, I make calm. You understand? So it's crazy.
Written in the stars, to rise, and Demi V. What a conversation, man. As I said, this is it. You have to look at the two words, you know what I mean? Two sides of the world. The legends who have already spoken, and get into the mindset of the youth. How they think, how they approach the world today. And Demi V is giving us all the scoop. Folks, don't go nowhere. We'll be right back in a jiffy.
For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. Ephesians chapter 2, the 8th to the 9th verse. So then, it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of God that showeth mercy. Psalm 9, the 16th verse.
Undiluted truth from our best friend. This is written in the stars, my best friend and I. On that note, fellas, let us find out more from Demi V about his understanding on the grace of God. This is my best friend and I.
How did you come to understand the concept of grace? Waiting make you understand the concept of grace?
I feel it is. Everything still goes down to what I've been through. Like the more you live, the more you learn. You understand? There are some things that will just come to your mind that you know that no, this is not actually me. This is actually God working. This is not me. There are sometimes I write songs and I know that a normal Demi will not think about this. But there's a supernatural power that is writing this for me. Like the song Hypocrite. I wrote it out of my subconscious mind. Like, I said the word finish and before I even realized how powerful it was.
And it's one of the biggest songs right now in the country, Nigeria.
Yeah, I don't actually know if it's the biggest song in the country, but I know it's a good song.
When you go through deep waters, I will be with you. When you go through rivers of difficulty, you will not drown. When you walk through the fire of oppression, you will not be burned up. The flames will not consume you. Isaiah chapter 43, the 2nd verse. He raises the poor from the dust and lifts the needy from the ash heap. He sees them among princes and bestows on them a throne of honor. For the foundations of the earth are the Lord's, and upon them he has set the world. 1 Samuel chapter 2, the 8th verse.
There you have it. One alternative truth I've learned from my best friend Bise: no matter how difficult your situation is, if you can stay positive and not become bitter, everything will work for your good. Survival, a way out of extreme poverty, is what I feel in my heart for the native of Anhafo. Now, to the big question about money and happiness. Up next on My Best Friend and I. This is My Best Friend and I.
So that's money define happiness.
Because
it's like everybody.
Because if you don't have money in Nigeria, you can never be happy.
You be useless.
You'll be useless to every part of anybody in this country. You'll be useless. Like, you'll be useless. You'll be useless to your mom. You'll be useless to your dad. You'll be useless to your sisters. You'll be useless to your siblings. Like, you'll be useless to everybody. So why won't you want to make money? There's nothing like an average man in Nigeria. It's either you are poor or you are rich.
There you have it. Demi V's thoughts on money. With that said, it is time to go hear some more alternative truths from our best friend, who always tells me that if anyone should speak, they should do so as one who speaks the very words of God.
A feast is made for laughter. Wine makes life merry, you know, and money is the answer for everything. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, the 19th verse. Wisdom, like an inheritance, is good, and it benefits those who see the sun. For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the advantage or excellency of knowledge is that wisdom preserves the life of its owner. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, the 11th to the 12th verse. Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with your income. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, the 10th verse. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Some people, eager for money, have wandered from the faith and have pierced themselves with many sorrows. 1 Timothy chapter 6, the 10th verse. Keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have, because God has said, "Never will I leave you, never will I forsake you." Hebrews chapter 13, the 5th verse.
Money, 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 money. Need I say more? Well, here we are. Let us find out from Demi V where he gets his sense of humility, and when we come back, alternative truths from my best friend on the subject humility.
Where do you get the sense of humility from? You said you want to live for the next man. You don't want to suppress the next because of what you've been through.
Yeah. Because I know you are going through a lot. Why should I make you go through shit again? Like, I know you are going through a lot. Like, there are some times that people will get me angry on the road, and I look at it and I look at the person and I see. I just look deeper and I look at that. Man, this person, I feel this person is going through shit. That's why this person is transferring aggression. That's why this person is not happy. That's why when a police catches me and they say I must give them money, I'm not always angry. Like, I just look at them that
say baba.
I understand. If I get, I will give them. Because I know, say, to even stand for that road by that time of the day.
Na risk.
Na risk. Inside cold, inside hot sun. You go enter motor, they look for boys where you go extort. Now still walk.
Young men, the same way, submit yourselves to your elders. And all of you, clothe yourselves with humility toward one another. Because God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 5. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and He will lift you up. James chapter 4, the 10th verse. A man's pride will bring him low, but a humble spirit obtains honor. Proverbs chapter 29, the 23rd verse. For whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be exalted. Matthew chapter 23, the 12th verse.
You've heard it all from my best friend. With that said, it is time to go check out on Demi V's secret weapon of survival. And when we come back, alternative truths from my best friend.
Through it all, I mean, you said you were brought up in pain. That hurt, like really hurt my heart, you know. What has kept you up to today? What is that secret weapon that has kept you up to today?
That's why I bring in grace in every understanding. I just feel we all live by grace. In Nigeria, I don't know about any part, maybe Ghana, maybe South Africa, but in Nigeria, the secret weapon is just grace of God.
The secret weapon is just the grace of God.
Swear down.
You swear down. Hands down.
It's just the grace of God, because it's not by power, it's not by might. Even the forces of this country is much more powerful than you.
The forces of this country.
There's a lot of forces. There's LASMA, there's police, there's Air Force, there's
customs.
There's custom, there's Kai, there's different forces. Before you now talk of the supernatural forces. You know, so everything is against your success.
So when you become successful, you become proud.
When you become successful, you see yourself like someone that is very powerful. Like, God. After everything, I reach this level. Nobody will talk to me anyhow. That's why you see yourself like a supernatural being. A normal thing. That if you work hard, you'll be successful. But Nigeria is not if you work hard, you'll be successful.
You can work hard.
You can work hard, work like
nothing will happen. This reminds me of, as he said, it's not him that will it, nor him that run it, but God that showeth mercy. So in all of this, you think God has shined His light on you and shown you mercy?
Yeah.
Among the millions that are out there that are struggling.
I'll just feel everything is all by grace. Like I'm just opportuned and graced to be in this position. That's why I will not see my other man lesser than me.
Thank you.
Like I will not see someone lesser than me, because it's not by my power. It's not by my might. You understand? For me to be in this position is not to make the next man suffer. It's to be an inspiration to the next man. So that's the way I see my life.
Grace has brought you far.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. It is time to go check out alternative truths from my best friend.
Unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. It is in vain that you rise up early and go late to rest, eating the bread of sorrows, for he gives to his beloved sleep. Psalm 127, the first to the second verse.
Welcome back. That was Demi V's secret weapon of survival. And it's all about grace. If you have never been in the shoes of Demi V and that of the residents of Anafo, you will never understand the concept of grace. In all my travels, I've seen people living in conditions worse than what I found here in Anafo. What strikes me here is the smile I found on the faces of these kids, which lights up my spirit, and the frowns on the faces of the elderly, which brings me to this question. Is God listening to all of us? And if the answer is yes, are we walking in His ways to fulfill our potential on earth to come to a place of true happiness? Well, folks, the search continues. One beautiful thing I've learned on the streets of Anafo is this beautiful slogan which goes a little something like this. Aze, Mese, Orekodo, Wankodo Krampa, Yebi Pinya Wakodo. Interesting indeed. It's all about the hustle. Push it the right way and be rewarded the right way. Whether I begin my day with Him or not, I will always end up with Him by His right-hand side, all in His arms, as He carefully carries me through this journey called life. Remember, my best friend is the unseen guest at every meal, the silent listener to every conversation. This is my best friend and I.
The whole world dancing under my roof makes me sing drum songs like my man Booth. Fresh start, I'm inspired by these fireworks with all the flags in the air waving one love. It's got me whistling and flying like this cute dove. It's sweet smiles, handshakes, that's what it takes. A load of heart for my cakes and blue lakes. Well, let me turn it to your word as we all shine. See, we all one, let's get the job done. Big dream, one team, let's hit the beam. It's a new day, what more can I say? Down to play the game fast, it's my old lady. Man, it's you and on the road to great heights. Black, white, no fights, let's join the flight.